Today is Wednesday, September 25, 2024. My name is Mark. Presenting this news program is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited. The top stories we are following tonight: President Joseph Boakai describes as threat to the future of Liberia the alarming drug crisis facing the country, calls for global efforts to end the menace. After several months in hiding, former Finance Minister Samuel 12 finally surrenders to criminal code C, files an $8 million United States criminal appearance bond. Following years of internal wrangling, Chairman Musa Belete finally resigns from the Liberty Party, says the new direction of the party does not fit his core values. And away from Liberia, more than 430 people have died following cholera in the past month. Sudan's health ministry says a civil war continues to ravage the country, according to the BBC. The details of these developments, including the bulletin of news, sports, voices of the newsmakers, are all part of this presentation. We're taking a short break back. Well, thanks for rejoining us. Let's now cross over to Edwin Batafoyan to bring us the bulletin of news. Good evening, Edwin.
Good evening, Maka, and good evening, everyone. President Joseph Boakai says Liberia is facing a just crisis that is affecting the youth and jeopardizing the country's future. He said the epidemic driven by international criminal enterprises and their network poses severe threat to the country. According to President Boakai, his government has not only declared the drugs epidemic a health emergency and a national security threat, but also taken steps to address the issues by establishing a dedicated national body to tackle drugs abuse in Liberia and urged the international community to join Liberia in addressing the escalating drugs crisis. At the same time, President Joseph Boakai has called for an immediate ceasefire in the Middle East to provide civilians with essential humanitarian relief. The Liberian leader urged both the Israelis and the Palestinians to engage in negotiation towards lasting peace, including a two-state solution, and also sees the ongoing conflict in Ukraine as a threat to global peace and security. President Boakai, addressing the UN General Assembly, also stressed that there is an urgent need for peaceful resolution that will respect Ukraine's territorial integrity. Meanwhile, President Boakai has launched a Liberia bid for a non-permanent seat on United Nations Security Council. He told his international counterparts that this year's assembly is a pivotal moment for Liberia to ascend to the African that's permanent seat of the UN Security Council 2026. The Liberian leader stressed that as the country announces its candidacy, he looks forward to the support of member states to vote Liberia overwhelmingly to the non-member seat of the Security Council, where Liberia can work with council members to promote peace, justice, and security. According to him, Liberia is dedicated to promoting sustainable growth and ensuring human dignity for all. President Boakai, in his address to world leaders at the UNGA, said Liberia is prepared to work together with the United Nations, other global allies, and the international community to accomplish the sustainable development goals and establish a fair, peaceful, and sustainable world. Former Finance Minister Samuel Toure has finally surrendered himself to criminal code C to face prosecution for multiple crimes, including economic sabotage. The court on Wednesday confirmed that Toure was accompanied by his lawyer, Councillor Arthur Johnson, where his sealed indictment with the writ of arrest was served on him. But to a legal team headed by Councillor Arthur Johnson, according to our CR judicial correspondent, submitted an $8 million United States dollars bond to the court to prevent his client from going to the Monrovia Central Prison. Our judicial correspondent further said that the state lawyers have 3 days to question the credibility of defendant Tour bonds as provided by law. Tour and others were indicted by grand jury of Masorado County during the August 10 of court, but Tour had been outside for bail week for the country 4 months before surrounding himself for the court on Wednesday. The other indictees are Councillor Yanti Tuan, former Solicitor General, Jefferson Campbell, former National Security Advisor, Moses Cooper, former Controller of the Finance Intelligence Agency, and Stanley Ford, former Director, Finance Intelligence Agency. Their charges include economic sabotage, abuse of public funds, theft of property, among others. They were indicted for allegedly stealing over $6 million United States dollars from the government through the Financial Intelligence Agency. Liberty Party National Chairman Representative Musa Belete has resigned his position as chairman of the party. The Nimba County lawmaker has also withdrawn his membership with the Liberty Party. In a letter to the National Executive Committee and the Advisory Council, Representative Belete said the last 3.5 years have been the most satisfying, complex, and challenging adventure of his political career. He noted that in an effort to recalibrate, Liberty Party recently embarked on an important phase of reconciliation, a necessary process given what the party has been through over the past 3 years. Belete added that as with any reconciliation process, certain concessions had to be made by all sides at the table. The Nimba County District Number 7 representative said as the party goes through the reconciliation process and in his consultation with the broader party membership, it has become abundantly clear that some of the concessions been sought to achieve reconciliation are fundamentally against his core belief or what is needed to continue to build a vibrant political institution and prepared for national leadership, and it cannot in good conscience endorse the new direction that is being proposed. He added that standing firm in his belief in democratic system, he also cannot and would not allow his personal beliefs to stand in the way of the reconciliation process. Representative Musa Belete said consistently faced with this situation, it has become necessary to hand over the baton to those who champion this new direction and allow them the space to chart the future course of the Liberty Party. Representative Belete revealed that he still holds the same opinion about the political parties within Liberia's current dispensation, and therefore he would not seek or take membership in any of them. Meanwhile, resignation of Representative Belete has been received in Nimba County with mixed reactions. Some radio callers and citizens in the county said they support the decision by Representative Belete to resign from the Liberty Party. They said, with the long-standing conflict, it was no longer healthy for the lawmaker to stay in the party. Our Nimba County correspondent quotes some of the residents as saying the resignation of District Number 7 representative will allow him to concentrate more on the needs of the people of District Number 7 and Nimba County at large. On the other hand, some die-hard supporters of the Liberty Party in Nimba County have expressed sadness over the decision of their chairman. They said Belete has bent their hope in the Liberty Party and has invested a lot to keep the vision of the party alive. As such, leaving at this time is a setback. At the same time, residents have decried the deplorable conditions of roads across the county occasioned by heavy rains. But in response to this alarming situation, Representative Musa Belete has initiated a significant intervention, especially in District Number 7 in Nimba County. Our Nimba County correspondent is reporting that the deteriorating state of the roads has affected transportation and access to essential services. The intervention by Representative Musa Belete through the Belete Development Fund aims to improve road connectivity and elevate the challenges faced by travelers across the county. Justice Minister Councillor Oswald Tuer has underscored the need for Sierra Leone and Liberia to join efforts in combating corruption and human rights violations in the region. He said collective fight against corruption and human rights violation is cardinal as both countries strive to minimize the culture of impunity. Speaking Wednesday at a day-long dialogue for stronger national and regional collaboration for enhanced human rights advocacy and fight against corruption in Monrovia, the Attorney General stressed the need for the two nations to reinforce alliance to champion the fight against corruption and human rights violation, which have held development and deprived citizens of their benefits. And at the same time underscored rigorous effort to harness the fight against corruption, stressing that no nation can trumpet in the midst of corruption. In remark, the chairperson of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights, Councillor Dempster Brown, said discussion from the dialogue will help prepare human rights and anti-corruption activists in preparing for the World and Economic Crimes Court. According to him, those who committed heinous crimes against humanity and looted the nation will be made to face justice, thus expressing explicit confidence in President Bouaka for the establishment of the World and Economic Crimes Court. The opposition Congress for Democratic Change says the return of its senior partisan, former Finance Minister Samuel Tuor, to face justice on charges demonstrates the party's commitment to upholding the rule of law. Samuel Tuor returned to the country earlier Wednesday morning after being out for months. Tuor, along with ex-National Security Advisor Jefferson Camu and former Solicitor General Councillor Yanti Tuor, and others are facing multiple charges, including economic sabotage, fraud, and criminal conspiracy. Addressing a major press conference in Monrovia Wednesday, the party's national chairman Anthony Jangaku noted that the charges brought against former Minister Tuer are weak. He emphasized that the criminal charges are all legal and eventual backing to find him guilty. At the same time, Anthony Kuo called on the Unity Party government to be holistic in executing or audit reports currently at the General Auditing Commission region from the 12 years of former President Eli Johnson Sirleaf, in which now President Joseph Boakai was vice president. In another development, the CDC chairman has strongly condemned what he calls the Boakai Kung administration appointing murderers of peaceful citizens in national and local government, including UP partisan Queen Johnson, who was linked to the death of Solomon Joshua, a partisan of the CDC. According to him, the government's alleged refusal to do the needful has pushed the CDC to organize a series of protest actions across Liberia to pressure the administration to look into those grave concerns. The Liberian National Bar Association, with funding from the United Nations Development Programme, has initiated a new project titled Promoting Access to Justice through Pro Bono Legal Aid Representation. Libat President Councillor Sylvester Renning said that the project is aimed at decongesting the Monrovia Central Prison for pre-trial detainees during the period of 1 year. Councillor Renning, speaking at the start of a one-day training of lawyers and case workers in Monrovia, said the project was initiated through a concept paper written UNDP to ensure the release of 200 pre-trial detainees through pro bono legal aid services. According to BAR's president, the project comes after the successful implementation of the UNDP electoral project with the National Elections Commission that witnessed the training of lawyers on the handling of cases arising from the 2023 elections and how to take an appeal to the Supreme Court. He noted that once the Access to Justice project is satisfactorily implemented in Montserrat County, the BAD will advocate for the extensions of the project to the rest of the counties. Also speaking, the Secretary General of the Liberian Bar, Councillor Bonavama, the former leaders of the bar who have served in various capacities and brought integrity to the association. He said, through such effort, the bar continues to implement projects on behalf of the international donor partners like the UNDP. Meanwhile, the promoting access to justice through pro bono legal aid representation project and the report from the UNDP electoral support project will be officially launched this Friday in Monrovia. As part of engagement with international partners, Finance Minister Augustine Garfon has received in audience the country representative of the International Monetary Fund (IMF). Paying a courtesy call on Tuesday at the Ministry of Finance, the International Monetary Fund country representative Joel Okuwiki expressed his pleasure in working with the team of the ministry instituting reform that will spur growth. The finance ministry release quote Owinki as saying the IMF is pleased to partner with Liberia instituting reforms to confront challenges facing the country. He said these reforms are significant to Liberia being included in the extended credit facility program of the IMF. The IMF country representative revealed that the fund's annual meeting scheduled to take place in Washington, D.C. That's Washington, D.C. from October 21 to October 26 will be followed by a mission visit to Liberia in November 2024. Responding to the IMF representative, Minister Gavon acknowledged the IMF for being a partner over the years that continue to finance and deliver impactful development projects across the country. He urged the new country representative of the IMF to build relationships with key stakeholders in the country. Minister Gafon wants the IMF to support capacity building programs for staff of the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning and improve national development growth across all sectors in the country. And away from Liberia, more than 430 people have died from cholera in the past month, Sudan Health Ministry says, as civil war continues to ravage the country. The number of infections has risen to about 14,000. It said in a statement, it said it was doing all it can to combat cholera in the affected states in the rise in infection. Getting treatment to those affected areas is hugely complicated by the conflict, which has killed up to 150,000 people since it began last year, according to the U.S. Special Envoy for Sudan, Tomo Porillo. Medical charity doctors Wilmot Bodas reported that there are regular obstructions by both warning parties. The humanitarian response remains far below what is needed. Sudan has been involved in a war since the armed and powerful pre-military group, the Rapid Support Forces (RS), began a vicious struggle for power in April 2013, leading to what the UN has called one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. Is back to you, Maka Davis.
Batafoyan for bringing us the bulletin of news tonight on News Desk. It is a regular feature here on the news program. If you're just joining us, one of the top stories we are following tonight, after several months in hiding, former Finance Minister Samuel 12 finally surrenders to criminal code C, files an 8 million United States dollar criminal appearance bond. In our first development tonight, President Joseph Boakai says Liberia is facing a drug crisis that is affecting the youth and jeopardizing the country's future. He said the epidemic, driven by international criminal enterprises and their networks, poses a severe threat to the country. According to President Boakai, his government has not only declared the drug epidemic a health emergency, and a national security threat, but has also taken steps to address this issue by establishing a dedicated national body to tackle drug abuse in the country. At the same time, President Boakai has called for an immediate ceasefire in the Middle East to provide civilians with essential humanitarian relief. The Liberian leader urged both the Israelis and Palestinians to engage in negotiations towards lasting peace, including a two-state solution. Well, he is President Joseph Boakai addressing the United Nations General Assembly on Wednesday in New York, the United States. The Opposition Congress for Democratic Change says the return of its senior partisan, former Finance Minister Samuel Toye, to face justice on charges of corruption demonstrates the party's commitment to upholding the rule of law. Samuel Toye returned to the country early Wednesday morning after being out of the country for months. Toye, along with ex National Security Advisor Jefferson Camo and former Solicitor General Councilor United Tuan and others are facing multiple charges, including economic sabotage, fraud, and criminal conspiracy. But addressing a major press conference in Monrovia on Monday, that's Wednesday, the party's national chairman, Apirinjanga Kowo, noted that the charges brought against the former minister are weak. He emphasized that the criminal charges lack all legal and evidential backing to find Tue guilty. He is the national chairman of the Opposition Congress for Democratic Change, Atanin Changako, there speaking at a news conference in Monrovia today. The resignation of Representative Musability as chairman of the Liberty Party has been received in Nimba County with mixed reactions. The Liberty Party chairman resigned early on Wednesday, stating that the new direction of the party does not fit his core beliefs. Some radio callers and citizens in Nimba said they support the decision by Representative Bility to resign from the Liberty Party. They said with the long-standing conflict, it was no longer healthy for their lawmaker to stay in the party. On the other hand, some diehard supporters of the Liberty Party in Nimba have expressed sadness over the decision by the chairman. It has been their hope in the Liberty Party and has invested a lot to keep the vision of the party alive. As such, leaving at this time is a setback to the Liberty Party. Here is our correspondent in Nimba, Nyan Flomo, with the views of the people. At the same time, residents have decried the deplorable conditions of roads across the county occasioned by the heavy rains. In response to this alarming situation, according to our correspondent, Representative Bility has initiated a significant intervention, especially in District 7 and other surrounding districts. Jan Flomo is RCR Nima County correspondent with that report. Justice Minister Councillor Oswald Twain has underscored the need for Sierra Leone and Liberia to join efforts in combating corruption and human rights violations in the region. He said collective fight against corruption and human rights violation is cardinal as both countries strive to minimize the culture of impunity. Speaking Wednesday at a day-long dialogue for stronger national and regional collaboration on enhanced human rights advocacy and fight against corruption in Monrovia, the Attorney General stressed the need for the two nations to reinforce alliances to champion the fight against corruption and human rights violations, which has held development and deprived citizens of their benefits. In remarks, the chairperson of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights, Councillor Dempster Brown, said discussions from the dialogue will help prepare human rights and anti-corruption activists in preparing for the War and Economic Crimes Code. According to Councillor Brown, those who committed heinous crimes against humanity and looted the nation will be made to face justice, thus expressing explicit confidence in President Joseph Boakai to establish the War and Economic Crimes Code for Liberia. He is the chairman of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights, Councillor Dempster Brown. They're speaking earlier on. You listened to the Justice Minister and Attorney General of the Republic, Councillor Oswald Twe. They spoke at a day-long dialogue for stronger national and regional collaboration for enhanced human rights advocacy in the fight against corruption. The Liberian National Bar Association, with funding from the United Nations Development Program, has initiated a new project titled Promoting Access to Justice Through Pro Bono Legal Aid Representation. LMBA Secretary or President Councillor Sylvester Rennie said the project is aimed at decongesting the Monrovia Central Prison of pretrial detainees during the period of 1 year. Councillor Rennie, speaking at the start of the one-day training of lawyers and case workers in Monrovia, said The project was initiated through a concept paper written to UNDP to ensure the release of 200 pretrial detainees through pro bono legal aid services. Also speaking, the Secretary General of the Liberia National Bar Association, Councillor Bono Vama, lauded the former leaders of the bar who have served in various capacities and brought integrity to the association. He said through such efforts, the bar continues to implement projects on behalf of international donor partners like the United Nations Development Program. He is the National Secretary General of the Liberian National Bar Association, Councillor Bono Vama. There, speaking earlier on, you listened to the president of the bar, Councillor Sylvester Renning. They spoke at a one-day training around the project promoting access to justice through pro bono legal aid representation being sponsored or funded by the United Nations Development Program. If you are just joining us, you are listening to 45 minutes of news from the News and Current Affairs Department here at the Renaissance Communications Incorporated. The top stories we are following tonight: President Joseph Boakai describes as threat to the future of Liberia. The alarming drug crisis facing the country calls for global efforts in ending the menace. After several months in hiding, former Finance Minister Samuel 12 finally surrenders to criminal code C, files an 8 million United States dollar criminal appearance bond. Following years of internal wrangling, Chairman Musa Belite finally resigns from the Liberty Party, stating that the new direction of the party does not fit his core beliefs. And of the home front, more than 430 people have died from cholera in the past month, Sudan's health ministry discloses. Well, we apologize for not being able to bring you sports on news decks tonight due to some technical reason. But this breaking news just coming in says the International Monetary Fund Management and Executive Board have approved a 40-month extended credit facility arranging in the tune of arrangement in the tune of US $209 million for Liberia. The IMF's management and the executive board made the approval at a board meeting on Wednesday, September 25, 2024. Commenting on the IMF board's decision today, Finance and Development Planning Minister Augustine Gamfo expressed elation over the approval by the board. He termed the achievement as a monumental step in ensuring that Liberia threads the path of fiscally responsible and sustainable development. The finance minister also noted that the IMF board's decision is an expression of confidence in the partnership between Liberia and the fund. This achievement, Minister Ngafon noted, is a result of an out-of-government effort applied or ably led by President Boakai. The Finance and Development Planning Minister thanked President Joseph Boakai for his exemplary leadership role and commitment throughout the process. He also lauded the National Legislature, the Central Bank of Liberia, his team at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, the Liberia Revenue Authority, and other government stakeholders for their respective roles in making the program a reality. It can be recalled that on August 26, 2024, the International Monetary Fund staff and the Liberian authorities reached a staff-level agreement on a comprehensive set of policies to support the extended credit facility. In more news tonight, former Bong County District 3 Representative George Moba has described as alarming the division among members of the Bong Legislative Caucus after the Moba took on his official Facebook page on Wednesday, expressing deep concern over the growing disunity and called for reconciliation and unity among members of the caucus. Speaking to RCR News via phone, the former Bong County lawmaker who served as two-term representative in Chocolate District 3 reflected on the harmonious relationship that existed among lawmakers during his time in the legislature. He is former Bond County Representative George Moba in conversation with Johnson Matoma of our staff. Finally, the Liberia Business Association has threatened to take legal action against the government of Liberia if it fails to cancel the agreement it has with Medtech Scientific Limited to inspect containers at the National Port Authority. Addressing a press conference in Congotown on Wednesday, LIPA President James Struther said the company is exploiting Liberian businesses, thus calling on the government to take swift action. He is the president of the Liberian Business Association, James Struther, there speaking during the press conference in Monrovia on Wednesday. Well, folks, this is how we love to draw the curtains on tonight's presentation of news decks. Has been a full package of news from Liberia and other parts of our world. Before we take leave of you, these are the top stories we followed. President Joseph Boakai describes as threat to the future of Liberia the alarming drug crisis facing the country, calls for global efforts in ending the menace. After several months in hiding, former Finance Minister Samuel Tuwe finally surrenders to Criminal Code C, files an $8 million United States dollar criminal appearance bond. Following years of internal wrangling, Chairman Musa Belite finally resigns from the Liberty Party, stating that the new direction of the party does not fit his core beliefs. And of the home front, more than 430 people died from cholera in the past month, Sudan's health ministry discloses. Many thanks to all of you for your listening. Real thanks to you who follow us on the Real TV Live. The news bulletin was read by Edwin Batafoyan. Johnson Batoman Sarah control and coordinated the sounds. Myean Torgbean has been behind the cameras carrying us live. Thanks to our sponsors Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited. My name is Maka Davis. Good night.